What's going on, everybody?
What's up?
My name is Nick Valley.
My name is Jonah Dockenai.
And this is
Rev Rock Revolution! Hey, Nick.
We are
Nick.
back. New year. What?
I have to say, I'm really liking the drip you have on right over there.
It's a pretty good fit, you know. I have to say, I mean, your outfit, that shirt is just it goes with every look. So I couldn't have
Thank you
chosen
so
a better
much.
selection.
This is the special edition black Nick Valley tee. So if you guys like the drip
Ooh,
as
I gotta
well,
get me one of those.
You guys got to go to Nick Valley's merch store. And he doesn't have only shirts.
God, yeah.
He has so much more stuff. He has patches, beanies. He has a ton of stuff. So yeah, you got to get yourself for the new year.
Facts.
Yeah, for the new year, you got to get yourself
You
some
gotta
Nick
do
Valley
it.
merch.
You gotta head over to my Shopify store. Listen, all my merch links are available in my link in bio. If you go to my link in bio, my Koji link, there's a area that says merch, and then there's a separate. It takes you to a separate link tree that'll be all merch links with some exclusive offers. So yeah, go check it out. It's cool. There's tons of options, some different things. I also have a free starter pack, so if you want to start there. But I have to say, this shirt is one of the most comfortable things that I own. It's super comfy. I'm glad I got a large because it feels like it's all nice and it makes me feel warm and snug. And especially this time of year, it's the winter. We're in a new year. You know, everybody knows how January is in February. Wearing shirts like this is
Want
great.
some
And
comfy clothes for the winter.
I couldn't feel any cooler in any other logo on my shirt. So y'all better get on the trend. Go over to the Jinx merch store and get one of these babies. They're great. They're super comfortable. I honestly, this is some of the most comfortable artist merch that I own. So yes, definitely got to get this. And plus, everyone's gonna know you know what's up. You're in the Jinx. So yeah.
Hell yeah, yeah. Our link is in my band Jinx link in bio as well. Both of these are super comfy shirts.
Yep.
I love the quality of our own shirts for Jinx. I love the quality of this shirt too. It's not like rough like a ton of other band t-shirts that I get where it just feels like you just got like a rag and then made a shirt out of it. This actually feels really comfy.
It's the worst. Yeah, it's good. That means it's worth the extra money that I'm paying up front, which people, okay, I just want to address something real quick. I don't know if you've run into this issue before. I've had most people are fine with things, and I think this is going to lead into a bigger discussion eventually. Mm-hmm. I've said this once, I'll say it a million times. Inevitably, this show is going to become a political podcast within the next 2 to 3 years. Just the direction everything goes in. But people have been complaining about to me that certain items maybe are too high priced. Let me explain why a T-shirt is costing $40. Because the fulfillment for me is, by the time I get to the making costs, the printing costs, the shipping costs, the transaction fees, the taxes, by the time I get through all of that, I'm going not only breaking even, I will lose money on that order if I make these shirts $20. So, and people go, okay, go to 30. Well, I'm going to be breaking even. So the reason these are $40 shirts and $35 beanies is because the only way I can keep this going and sustain making more merch and doing more songs and making more is to be making some sort of income. So that is prime. I'm not a greedy person. If I was making an exorbitant amount of money, and I would be lowering the prices, but I just can't afford to be doing that because of a little thing called inflation, and that's where I'm going to leave that today. But
yeah, and selling merch is like the number one source of income of all musicians, even like the big musicians. And because like touring nowadays, you're breaking even best case scenario on like ticket sales and everything.
Best case scenario.
Yeah, that's best case scenario. But if like you have shows that cancel and stuff, then you're losing money, and then your merch is your profit margin most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's the thing. The way you're making money is from the merch, because it's one of the only guaranteed things you can go, okay, well, whatever it's going to cost me to fulfill, I could just charge double and then make a fulfillment on that. Because the thing about ticket prices is venues will charge you, some venues, depending, like these bigger artists that you're referring to, you're not making any money off of sales anymore. No one's buying CDs or records or anything like that, unless you're like a huge major artist and, you know, your fans are into that vinyl thing. But even then, that's like a niche thing. It's not like mass like it was 20, 30 years ago. Thank you, Napster. You know, we can have that conversation one day. But you know, thanks to streaming and stuff, you're not making any money from that. And touring is like, it's so expensive. Like, I know all these people, they go on tour and then they're not really making any money from all the transportation costs and all the equipment costs and all that stuff. And then ticket prices, they're lucky if they break even on that. You know, sometimes artists, most of the time in their first couple of tours, artists lose money because, you know, they're trying to establish a presence and a show that's going to be memorable in people's eyes. And I remember I read this whole article about how Lady Gaga, she like got herself in like, I forgot how much money was, but it was an exorbitant amount of debt on her first tour because she wanted to have the greatest, biggest show possible. And there's a reason she's been around so long and has the sustained power she does, because she cares about the craft in it. But she lost, you know, money on that, for an exorbitant amount of money on that first tour. And that's not anything new. You know, that's just how it works. And back in the day, you know, they would take that off your advance, and, you know, you think you're making whatever, how much it is. Oh, I got $1 million deal. That goes away very quickly with all the studio costs.
Because it goes right back into everything.
But then they'll go. What will happen is they'll go have a business meal. They'll go have a business lunch with somebody, and then they'll write it off of your expense because, oh, that person contributed to your tour in XYZ way. And people, you know, and you hear all these stories all the time. But the main thing that I guess I'm trying to get at is merch. Really, and record sales were have been the only consistent avenue, and now we just have merch. So when you're complaining about the sales, I understand it hurts your bank account, but it hurts mine if I don't raise the prices. So that's my justification on that.
And if you want the shirts to get cheaper, then just share the music to more people, because the more fans he has buying shirts, then he could buy them in bulk, he gets them cheaper, and then he could lower down the price.
Exactly.
So
I'm
glad
blow up
his music.
I'm really glad. It's very easy. Just share my music, get more people to buy my shit, and I can buy it in bulk.
Exactly.
It's very easy.
Speaking of your music,
man.
you came out with a new single recently.
I did come out with a new single last Friday, January 5th, I believe. Yes. My song Here I Am came out. It's the start of a brand new era for me. It's been really well received, actually. People who have listened to the song are really into it. A lot of my older fans, people who've been around from the older music, they're really digging it, really liking it. Newer fans who are coming in are really digging it. So yeah, it's been a really positive response to the song overall. I'm excited about the trajectory of it, because again, it is a new lane for me, and is kind of a shift, but people have responded to it well, which makes me feel really good about it. I know, Jonah, you're liking the new music, and you've heard a lot more than just this one song.
Yeah, I'm excited for all the songs that you're planning to release, because I've heard a lot of it. I love this shift, and I think it's gonna perform really well. I get hyped up listening
Thank you.
to
I really
Nick's
appreciate
music.
that. Oh yeah. Well, I feel the same way about Jake's. I've said it time and time again. That is my feel good music. That is my pump it up music. So yeah, I'm with you totally, man. Yeah, I feel really good about the new release, and it's just the beginning, and there's going to be a ton of content around the song coming out soon on social media. So yeah, stay tuned. And social media is going to be the second half of this episode, by the way, just as a little foreshadow. But Jonah, how have you been? How are things? I know you had to get your mic. You was just telling me off the air before we started. I don't want to spoil anything, so in case you don't want to share certain things. I don't know. So what's up with you?
I've been doing pretty good. We closed out last year with 2 awesome gigs. I kind of talked about them briefly last show, but now that the gigs have passed, they were really fun. We met some awesome bands. We made the first gig we became friends with this one band called the Dollheads. They're an awesome punk sibling band from Las Vegas. Definitely check them out. Their songs are on Spotify and everything. Yeah. Yeah, and hopefully I'm hoping to plan like a tour during the summer with them or something, because like our bands meshed really well. And then the last show of the year, we played with our buddies Ex Famine. We played Seek and Destroy, or I played Seek and Destroy with them. And then
Ooh,
yeah, it was fun. We've been trying to do that for so long, and we're like, yeah, let's close out the year with a bang. We're doing Seek and Destroy. One of the best thrash
That's the
songs
only way you
of
could
all
close out the
time.
year.
Yeah, and getting the
Fun
getting
fact, by the way,
crowd-
to our viewers, I just want to say Seek and Destroy was the first song I ever heard you guys play live because it was on your live stream. And I was sitting in my car with my mom, and I blasted when Jinx did that live stream show. I think when you guys released Dear Diary, it might have been.
Yeah.
But I was that was some great shit. Yeah. So if you guys haven't heard Jonah play and sing Seek and Destroy, you're seriously missing out on life. So I highly recommend
maybe
that.
we'll post a
But
video
yeah,
on our YouTube channel of that.
Maybe
Yeah,
you should.
that'd be fun. Oh yeah, we've been posting, or I've been posting just like videos here and there on our on the Jinx's YouTube channel. I haven't really been promoting it because it's mostly I just post it on there. So like when we're applying to things, like if you have a link of playing live, then I send it. But if you guys want to see what it's like to see Jinx live, we just uploaded a video from our last gig of last year where we're doing Pretty Little Lies and Red Parade, the first two songs of our set. So, yeah.
I know. Trust me, I know. I watch every single video you guys upload. I am the avid all notification subscriber. You guys gotta
awesome.
Smash that like button and hit that subscribe.
Yeah.
but yeah. No, you were saying. I'm sorry. That's so funny.
Yeah, so that, and then another fun thing, I made friends with this band called Cutie, who's another sibling band. Shout out to all the sibling bands that I've been meeting in the past month.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I played a couple songs with them. We did the Daughtry version of Separate Ways and Bring Me to Life by Evanescence. So it was a fun way to end the year. It's been a bit since I've done cover collabs with other people live, but I love them because that's how Jinx kind of started out.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. As far as sibling bands go, I think it's like Jinx, Bee Gees, in that order. So
we're above Bee Gees.
Yeah. No,
I'll
you're on
take it.
par.
I'll take it.
You're on par. No, but for real, I mean, there's a magic to that, though. There needs to be like some sort of scientific study about that, about how siblings or family members like play different with each other or have musical connections, because I believe it's a real thing. I think there has to be some sort of connection there.
I think it's because of, with siblings, how much time you spend together. So like how each other think, and then plus the musicality on top of it, you could practice together whenever. And that's really mostly how it is. Like a ton of the like big bands you see, they act like siblings because of how much time they spend together and how much they play together. So it's pretty much that same thing.
Definitely.
So which I love that Xavier wants to do the music stuff with me, and I'm so grateful.
Yeah, that's great. No, that's honestly great. I'm an only child. As some people, I have only child syndrome, so I never knew what that was like. But I could imagine definitely like what that would be like. I always wanted to have like a brother, so which I do now. I feel like obviously, but
honorary Doc sibling.
Of course. I wear that with that badge of honor, as it is my main symbol. But that is definitely something that I have kind of always imagined. And I saw this really interesting video too, where it's like, and this is kind of where this ties in. This woman who's like, she teaches like voice at like universities and like the science of it and that kind of stuff. And she was talking about basically how your voice, like your tone in your singing, could be a genetic thing, because based out of the way that you're obviously everybody knows it's like your size and your vocal cords, how thick or thin they are, throat size or whatever. But I forgot exactly how she explained it. But the analogy she used was like if you cut your neck in half, like if you cut and you just looked at it from the inside from here, something about the way your neck was shaped or coming in is basically genetic. So her theory basically I have to find the video and share because this sounds like a jumbled mess what I'm saying, but the short version of it is the theory is that your tone comes from your genetics, like from your mother and father, like your singing voice. So I could imagine it could be a very similar thing in the way that you play and how your perception of timing is, and I just that's just my personal opinion, but I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
No, I could totally believe that because like both my parents are musical, and then now you have Xavier and I who are pretty much raised from the minute we were born on music.
Yeah.
Even beforehand, my mom,
Yeah.
like when my mom was pregnant with me, she was listening to like Jimi Hendrix all the time and Fleetwood Mac.
And then
Eric
she had
Clapton.
Jimi Hendrix, so it worked.
The reincarnation of Jimi Hendrix right here. I like-
Listen. I wouldn't be too sure. I think it's possible. I wouldn't rule it out. Right away.
I like to think this might maybe me just being full of myself, but I like to think I'm the reincarnation of Dimebag Joe because it was so close, me being born and him passing. So yeah, and
I'm with you
Dimebag
on
Joe is my
that.
favorite
I'm
guitarist.
with you on that.
So
I know. No, I feel that. It's like it's the same rate. It's like I like to think I was the. This is a joke. This is a joke. I'm going to say this before I'm going to preface this. This is a joke. I am the reincarnation of Luther Vandross. We died in the same year. It happened. It's possible. Okay, moving on from that. The comic we wanted to talk about this week. I'm not sorry for that joke. It's still less awkward than Joe Coy at the Golden Globes last night.
yeah, that is true.
Did you see
Dude,
that?
he bombed on the Taylor Swift joke.
I didn't think the Taylor Swift joke was that bad.
I thought
I
the
thought
joke
that
was
he
funny, but it
I thought it was funny too.
Taylor
Taylor
I feel
Swift
like
did
it
not.
was. Yeah, Taylor Swift.
I think you know what it
it's-
is. I think Taylor's heard.
Uh-huh.
I think if that was the first time she heard that joke, she would have laughed. I think people have been saying it so much over the last couple months. I think that's really
Yeah,
why
she's
she
just
was
sick of
bothered
it.
by the joke. But I don't think. I think that was the cherry on top of the. I don't know. Did you watch the monologue in the beginning?
No, I didn't. I got on a little bit late, so I missed like the first like 20 minutes.
Okay. Okay. Well, that is the thing that you're missing out. Okay, let's put it this way. I watched it on YouTube today, and it was so cringe. I couldn't actually watch it happening. I had to scroll down into the comment section and I could barely even listen to it. I couldn't watch him say it. Let's put it that
Oh
way.
no.
That's all I'm gonna say. He made some insensitive jokes about Barbie as if he never actually watched the film and didn't know what the point of the plot was. There were some other jokes made. Some and then when the jokes didn't exactly land, he just blamed it on the fact that he was hired 10 days ago and that he didn't write all the jokes and he told the audience to shut up. So it wasn't great. Listen, I still love Joe Coy. I think he's hilarious. His stand up is some of my favorite shit ever. I'm not bashing
Yes.
Joe Coy.
Just wasn't his night.
My personal opinion on this, I think the Golden Globes, everyone seems to have a very stuck-up attitude. If you watch every year, they take it way too seriously. Every speech is a political one when they accept their awards. This is just something we know. So the only person who can handle that job is Ricky Gervais. So it's really not fair to give anyone else that job. Let's be honest. But yeah, that's my personal thoughts on it. Jonah, I feel like you have to watch it and then tell me what you think of that. Maybe once we end the episode, I'll make you watch it. Just out of sheer torture. But yeah, no, that's my thoughts on that. Just if anybody was wondering. Yeah. So speaking of being on social media and speaking of YouTube, something we've hinted at a couple times today, I want to talk about, we were having a text conversation the other day, and I was telling you about a shift that is happening on TikTok. I don't know if you want to tell everybody what's going on, what TikTok has decided to start doing, and then I can kind of get into more specifics.
Yeah, so TikTok has allowed up to, they're allowing longer form videos up to 30 minutes, if I remember correctly. Is that right? Yeah, up to 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's correct.
So Nick and I started having a little bit of a conversation about, Nick thinks that TikTok and YouTube are gonna flip, because YouTube's starting to get more and more shorter content, and TikTok gonna be having longer and longer content. And I'm excited to hear more about what you think, because we had like a very brief conversation about this, because we wanted to save it for this for the podcast.
Yeah, no, totally. I'm gonna preface this with something, and I swear to God, I've already said it in the episode. We are not a political podcast as it currently stands in the year 2024. So this is not me taking a political stance here. January 2025, we're going to just go full on and just start having political candidates. But let me explain here. There's something that happened about 40, 50, 60 years ago. And this is the reason I'm sharing this is because it equates back in my theory on social media. Jonah, I don't know how aware you are of this. Are you aware of any, like, the quote unquote party switch that happened over the last century or so?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically the what historians basically have come to analyze is that conservative views used to be in a Democrat, and Republicans used to be liberal, and that kind of shifted. And basically, I think the same thing is happening with YouTube and TikTok. I think that TikTok is going to switch to making long-form content, and YouTube is going to switch to making short-form content. I'm already seeing it happen, and let me explain why. Number one is their shift in algorithms. If you notice, YouTube Shorts has been very much favored. I can tell you from my personal experience, when I post the same short clip, 15-second clip on TikTok, and the same 15-second clip on YouTube Shorts, I will get anywhere from 2 to 10,000 views on YouTube Shorts and anywhere from 200 to 300 views on TikTok. So that's number one. That is proof right there that the algorithm is shifting. The other proof I have is on TikTok is my 3 most watched views are over a minute. My most viewed video is over 3 minutes. And that was last year. That was a year ago. That was my rant about ChatGPT. Which has aged beautifully, by the way. And that's not me being sarcastic. That's true. A lot of the things I said in that video are happening. And you can't watch, by the way, if you go to look for that video, it doesn't exist anymore. I took it down. Well, I didn't take it down. It's private now for publicity reasons. But yeah. Anyways, I see this shift happening because I think YouTube created Shorts obviously to compete with TikTok, and that's why their algorithm favors short form content. TikTok has blatantly, since like a year and a half ago, has blatantly stated that they are trying to be YouTube's competitor, and they've been doing everything they can by creating, I'm not sure if you saw, they have like money for creators now. I don't know if you've seen this on TikTok, but you can create videos. They give video assignments to people, and depending on how many views you get, they pay you a certain amount of money. So if you were to get like a million views, you'd make X amount of money. Like they'll say, okay, and it's for artists. So they'll go, okay, make a video using this song, and if you get X amount of views, you'll get this amount of money. So if you get 100,000 views, you get this much money. But if you get 1 million views, you'll get this much money. And if you get 10 million views, you'll get this much money. And TikTok has kind of laid it out like that, kind of incentivizing people to use. So basically they could do partnerships with artists and brands and make money from that end of it. and then also just pay out a fraction of that to give it to creators, and then creators are on the app. So it's kind of like generating them cycle, so getting more creators on their app, promoting more things that they're making money from, and which is a smart business move. I understand, and I think it is a smart thing to do because I think people are fed up with ads, and I've noticed in the TikTok culture in general, people. I don't know if I just saw a statistic that 98% of ads are swiped on in TikTok. Like most people don't watch ads on TikTok. It's not Instagram. It's not Facebook. People weren't really there for that. And what I'm noticing is, and this is the one thing that might hold it back, but again, like the party switch, it happened over a longer period of time. So I'm thinking within the next 5 years, this is going to occur. But it's already starting to. I think we're already maybe in the midst of those 5 years. So maybe another 3 years, 2, at the least. Because I see this happening time and time again is people are going, TikTok. I saw this one comment. It was like, TikTok already ruined my attention span for long videos. Like, I don't want to see long videos on TikTok anymore. But what's going to start happening is if YouTube starts catering to short form content and TikTok starts, their audiences are just going to switch. They're just going to attract each other's people just like the parties did over the last century. So that's just my theory. So I would love to get your take on this before we kind of wrap up on it. But yeah, that's my opinion and what you think.
I think that's a really interesting thing that they added 30-second. Or not 30 minutes. I can't speak. Or for you guys who don't know, it is freezing cold right here in Mariposa, so I'm kind of shivering.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, but
I bet.
Yeah, but I wanted to rep the merch. Yeah, but I think you're right that there's gonna be a switch now with this new thing, and I feel like. I don't know if the audiences are going to switch. I feel like there might be a small switch with some, but I feel like whoever's on TikTok is going to stay on TikTok because they're still just mind-numbingly scrolling, and they're going to watch whatever gets their attention, even if it's like a longer clip where it's Subway Surfers and a movie clip playing, because now you could just do longer ones of those. Yeah. Yeah, but I am excited to see what's gonna go on, and I think it's funny that since TikTok's competing with YouTube, they switched everyone's attention spans to shorter. So then YouTube's fan base gets shorter attention spans, switched to shorts, and now their TikTok going back to longer form content, they'll be ahead of YouTube in the longer form content.
Yeah, okay. No, that makes sense. I definitely agree with that. I think it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out in the long run because, again, it's interesting because it'll be like, okay, are we going to be able to shift people's attention spans backward? Like, are we going to be able to make them longer? Because it's very easy to cut people's attention span short. So I would love, honestly, because TikTok is our generation's platform, I would love to see their attention spans grow to 20-30 minutes. I mean, would be great for us.
Yeah, that would be good for humanity as a whole.
I think that would lead to better music, and yeah,
better content
I would love to
too.
see that, honestly. Yeah, no, exactly. So I would like to see that, and you're seeing it in TikTok already. People are getting sick of these half-assed, iPhone-made, non-edited videos. Like the stuff that's doing well on TikTok has been. All the stuff I see doing really well on TikTok lately is high quality camera, good editing, good lighting. So yeah, I think everything's and YouTube I'm seeing very raw stuff go viral. So I think there's a huge shift happening here. So it's fascinating to see. You know, I'll be like, back in my day, we used to watch 30-minute YouTube videos and 15-second TikToks. But you know, it'll be interesting to see that, definitely. But I think you're right, because if you think about it from the same point of view as the political parties, a lot of people stayed in the parties because a lot of people are just like, oh, this is TikTok and this is YouTube, even though the ideologies and what they're made for have completely shifted and changed the two parties. Like, people still identify with that just because it's the brand that they've known
people like to stick
and feel
to their
comfortable
brand.
with. Exactly. So, because I will hear people say all the time, "Oh, I'm not even going to get into the political discussion," but people say, "Oh, I'm this party," but it's like your ideals are kind of the opposite. Like that was with my grandmother. It was like, okay, but you're kind of saying things that match the opposite of today's version of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think the same
I
thing's
know
going to
what you're
happen with the
saying.
social media platforms. I think the same thing's going to happen with the social media platforms. This is my personal point of view.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Let us know what you think about the whole
Yes.
TikTok and YouTube thing down in the comments below. We always love hearing your guys' thoughts.
Definitely. Definitely. And if you're seeing this, we probably uploaded it to TikTok because
TikTok.
now we
Oh,
can.
yeah.
So this is going to be cool. We're going to have a 30-minute TikTok.
Let's go.
We're ahead of this curve. We fully believe that this shift is going to happen, so we're going to get ahead of it early. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that kind of concludes it for us today, right?
Yeah, I don't have anything else. I don't think.
We got the merch plugs. We got
Yeah.
the social media switch. We got our little updates for our regular viewers. Yeah. Okay. Well, then until next time, my name is Nick Valley.
My name is Jonah Dockenai, and we're
And this is
Rev Rock
Rev Rock
Revolution.
Revolution. Safe travels.